Oh, we are live. Thank goodness. Okay. Wish you could make a space there. All right, I'm on. I'm on. I don't know why. Wish I could edit that. Don't like how that looks in the little comment thing, but that's fine. Oh, I think I put the wrong. No, I didn't. I put the right thing. Okay, I'm here. Don't know how long I'll be here. Why does it look so... Is my camera dirty? Oh. Did I turn it off? What is going on? Okay, there we go. Accidentally turned that off. All right. Fix this. Yep, there we go. That's better. I'm in front of the camera. Oh, how has everything been for you astronauts? How's your week been? How are you holding up right now? I may not even be on long today because my stomach hurts really bad. I don't know what I ate or what's going on, but that's what's going on with me. It's been a pretty decent week, I'm going to say. I have just been doing a lot of reflecting, a lot of thinking, not super active in terms of like having a lot of busy work, just more so having to recalculate and recalibrate, do things with all these planets moving forward and going direct. And I think Mars goes direct on the 23rd. So then we'll have quite a few planets moving direct, and we got to just keep up that momentum, keep things pushing, keep things moving along, and see how things turn out. You know, I am excited for all the things that are going to be happening. It's February. We're finally in February. I'm very happy for that. Feels like this year is in its own little time zone, its own little vibe. Let me take this card out. I'd like to take it, Mysteries of Tarot. Hey, Sand. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I hope I feel better soon, too. Let me know how your week has been. And make sure that I have all my information and titles correct, because sometimes I just go off and post stuff and I'm like, Brandy, that's not the right stuff. Okay, everything's right. February definitely feels a little bit lighter. That's good to hear that you feel the same way. Yeah, I feel the same way about February. Like, it's been a lot nicer so far this month. The workload has not been as heavy so far. And I finally get to actually enjoy parts of my life, you know, especially with school. I've gotten to the flow of things. And it's going smoothly. It's going pretty smoothly so far. I can't get a reading today. I'll just be hanging out. That's fine, Sam. Feel free to hang out. No pressure, you know. I am definitely looking forward to February. I have a few things planned. I was mainly inside in January, and now I'm ready to just go out and do my thing and be happy and celebrate life. I'm trying to bring about more fun this year. That is my New Year's resolution, to have more fun, have more excitement, enjoy my life. And I hope you all enjoy your lives as well. So that's great. I feel the same. Like, I feel February is encouraging to me to embrace joy at the same time as the deeper and more hands-on work. Yeah, it is. It's like a good balance of both. It's like, okay, I finally have to put things sort of into action, but at the same time, it's like we need that balance. We need that balance of like work and play, so that it doesn't feel too stressful or overwhelming, because there's so many things going on in the world. Whoop. Really are. I got the Five of Swords flying out here. As soon as I talk about all the things going on in the world, yeah, there's so many things going on in the world that it is overwhelming. So we have to have those moments of just pause and enjoyment. I think so, at least. That's how I feel about things. I'm trying to figure out, I think I have every weekend booked for this month. I don't know how March is going to be, but this weekend, every weekend is booked for things to do, so that I'm not like stuck in the house all day. Okay. All right. I'm just going to shuffle these cards. All right. Shuffling away, making sure none of the deck cards are in there. All right. Hi, Ari. How are you? Exactly. I feel the underlying heaviness through the moments, as if the lightness is preparing us for more heavy stuff. Like the planets are coaching us through all of this every step of the way. That is so true. That is so true. I mean, yeah, I feel like you're right with the planets saying that they are kind of like coaching us through the heaviness and preparing us for the things that are going to come. Especially since we have all these retrograde planets. So it's like retrograde is always the worst for me. At least I think so, because it's like so much at once. It's so much at once. I heard that they said, like, if you have a retrograde planet in your chart and it goes retrograde during transit, it's supposed to be lighter. I have not found that to be true. Like, I have Jupiter retrograde in my chart, and whenever Jupiter goes retrograde, it's a nightmare for me. I absolutely hate it. So I think it gets heavier, but some people say differently. I think it might be different for everyone. Okay, Ari says, I really wish you still did free readings here and there, but I support you whatever you do. Yeah, I cannot go back to free readings. It's just not going to work for me. But thank you for supporting me, Ari, the Aries princess. I really appreciate that. Said, I'm good. How about you? I'm doing pretty all right. Just my stomach really hurts. Not sure why. At least you still do pick. Yeah, I'm gonna always do the pick a cards. I mean, I'm basically a pick a card channel, you know. Though I would like to do more astrology videos, I just don't have time. Like, was it too much in a way? Not sure what you mean. Are you talking about the readings? I mean, I think energy should be balanced, right? Like, if you're providing a service, you should have something in return, right? At least that's how I feel. Okay. I was just thinking in terms of like transits. It said, I've been really chilling lately and searching for a job. Yeah. I hope you find a better job, because, you know, I know how the job market can be these days. Things can be tough. even if there are jobs, they may not be the right jobs. Yeah. But keep looking, keep pushing. Don't accept, don't accept the bare minimum, because you're just going to want to quit in a couple of months. And honestly, it's a shame that the job market is so steep. I really feel like they're not offering people the same amount of opportunities. I was just talking about this with classmates, saying that, you know, how jobs are changing their formulas. Like a lot of jobs are going from remote back to the office. And a lot of people are kind of quitting, or they're just not having the same amount of productivity, which is true. People tend to be more productive away from the office. I'm not really sure why companies are doing that, but it is going into the fact that companies feel like they have a lot more power. And so they're just wanting to, I guess, exploit that or use that in some sort of way. I'm not really sure the benefit of having your employees in the office is, maybe just to watch them more. But, you know, because at this point, I'm like, it can't all be about productivity. I think sometimes jobs lose sight that employees add value and they kind of need them. It's been tough. I've decided that I gave up trying to get a job in the Darden company that owns Longhorns and Olive Garden, because I've had like 3 interviews at 3 different locations and not one job offer, 1 at Olive Garden and 2 at Longhorn. Yeah, you might have to try just different companies. I mean, if you're looking for restaurants, branch out to ones that are less, that are less known and less popular, is what I say. He said, when I applied, they almost never really give me a chance to interview. They're way too picky. They're being picky probably because they have more applicants. If you go to restaurants that are lesser known, then you're likely to get more, response. And honestly, even just picking up, like, because I remember when I was unemployed, I was looking for like part-time jobs because I was in school, and I was like, okay, I couldn't find it was hard to find a part-time job in what was it? In project management. So I was like, I'm going to go back to waitressing. And I couldn't get like an interview for like the bigger name companies. So I started looking up high-end restaurants. High-end restaurants don't get a bunch of people applying to them. So you just email them and reach out to them. They will usually respond more. So yeah, I should probably try ones less known, less popular. Yeah, less known, less popular. And honestly, like, I don't know if you're waitressing or if you're a manager or whatever the case may be, but look at the menu and the prices. And obviously, the higher the prices, the more people are paying, the more money the restaurant's getting, and thus, more money for you. So that's the thing. I think someone said something. I donated for a yes or no question on your PayPal. Oh, let me go to the PayPal. That is Erica. Pretty much everybody wants the same jobs. Everyone does want the same jobs. They want jobs that pay well, treat them with respect, gives them good time off. It said it could possibly pay more, and possibly they could treat you better as well, at least in my experience, going for more high-end or exclusive, lesser known restaurants. Sand is absolutely right. They do treat you better, tend to be at higher end restaurants, just because they don't want that lawsuit. Like the popular ones, they can kind of afford it. High-end ones, it's, they don't want that reputation. I'll say that. They really don't. Trying to look for the question. I don't think it says the question. Erica, did you put the question in the PayPal? For some reason, it's not coming up for me. Oh, okay. No, you didn't. Okay, will me and my husband move to our new house next month in March? Okay. Well, Erica and her husband moved to the new house next month in March. Okay, we have a card come out. We got the Lovers. Ooh, and the Page of Pentacles. Lovers and the Page of Pentacles. I think so. I think you will. I mean, we got the Lovers here. That's you and your husband. And we got the Page of Pentacles going into a new place. Having to deal with a new experience here. Pages love new things, and new property is one of them. So I think 100% true. And you may even want to start, making some changes right away, renovating, getting some new furniture. If you haven't already done that, trying to decorate. Like the Page of Pentacles loves the aesthetics. And so they want to get on top of that. They're like, I got to set the mood. I got to set the vibe. I've got to figure out my aesthetic decor. So I really do feel like you guys will move in next month. Be wary of small businesses, though. I have had experience where I was being underpaid. So definitely restaurants that are established. So true. Stay away from the smaller businesses. Like they can be high end, but mom and pop businesses, keep in mind there is no HR. There is very little, what's the word for it? Structure. They don't have as much structure, and that's probably not going to work in your favor. And that's so true. You definitely don't. And, those small businesses don't make a lot of money anyway. And they're not going to have the money for marketing. They're not going to have any sort of like bonuses, events, There's less avenues to make money. You want to pick some place that's established. You want to pick some place that's high end. You want to pick some place that is just going to have more structure, more stability, and things along the lines of that. Nothing wrong with small businesses. So you got to start somewhere. But in terms of a restaurant, I think there's a reason small businesses kind of stick within like the family at first and then expand, because when you start getting into other people and other personalities and things along the lines of that, it's very complicated, especially when you have a new, smaller business. They're still trying to learn everything that goes into running a business, and there's a lot to learn. Yeah, that's so true, Sam. Like, restaurant businesses are not easy for small owners. The restaurant business is tough. Everybody wants a restaurant on every single corner, and everybody's vying for your attention. If you don't have the money to promote yourself, and a lot of restaurants will spend time on like their food and things on the lines of that and perfecting their craft. And a lot of the times like I said, they don't have the money for marketing to get people to even come into the door and try their food. It just gets really complicated. And so they may put pressure on their staff to like, okay, can you reach out to these people, or can you come up with some ideas for this? And it's like, that's not what you're supposed to do. You end up doing more work for small businesses. So you may be like the waitress, the hostess, the cook, like you may be everything. It's just a nightmare. I say 2 thumbs down to like, if you want an easy experience, don't go for a small business. But if you want a lot of experience, like if you're like, hey, I want to open up my own restaurant one day, then I would say, yeah, go work for a small business. That's actually ideal. But if you don't want that and you're just trying to get a paycheck, then don't bother with a small business. Yep, that is so true. They will work you to the bone. Mm-hmm. You're welcome, Erica, and good luck on the new house, I should say. Like, I hope it is beautiful. I hope you love it there. I hope it's amazing. Don't forget to like everyone. Said, literally, I was cooking, cleaning, pouring drinks, underage, 14-hour days, with 2 to 30-minute breaks. Lord, man, San, I'm so sorry you went through all that. That is horrible. High-end and well-established conglomerate. Yep, correct. Yep, so true. Because I remember when I had to be a waitress, oh my God, it was nightmare. Like they had us, like you were basically the dishwasher. You also were the one who kind of you didn't have to make the food really, but honestly, sometimes you might have to if the cook stepped out. But it was just like stuff like put salad on a plate or something like that. Things along the lines of like you'd have to answer the phones and do takeout orders. And it's like you're in the middle of serving tables. How are you supposed to do a takeout order, right? Having to make drinks. Like it was just awful. I do not suggest ever working for a small restaurant at all unless you want to, be exhausted and make nothing and make no money. It's good though, if you're just like, oh, I want to challenge myself to see how much I can handle, but I don't suggest it. It's not really good for your mental health either. So I'm like with Sand. See, we both had those experiences where it is just, it's awful. Like, don't do it. Don't do that to yourself. Yep. But sometimes you learn the hard way, and that's what it is, Oh, oh, okay. Sorry, my stomach's hurting, guys. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to try to give it 10 more minutes so that I'm at least on for 30 minutes because I'm like, wow. Oh, okay. Woo. Don't forget to hit the like button, everyone. Let me shuffle this. Okay. Woo. But it is true. The job market is tough. It's out there. It's tough out there. Like for sure. You always have to keep looking for jobs. That is definitely one lesson I have learned. I was just thinking the other day, because my birthday is coming up, obviously in March. I think I have a lot of Aries that watch me, but like we're all like the Aries watching Aries. So I'm sure a lot of you astronauts' birthdays may be coming up in March or April too. And I was just thinking, oh my God, of all those things that I've learned over the years, because you know how people do lessons like, oh, 40 things I learned at 40 or 20 things I learned at 20 or things on the lines of that. And I was thinking just privately to myself, one of the lessons that I have learned over the years, and particularly with jobs, it is like always be looking for another job. Like never wait. As soon as you get your new job, start looking for another one. It doesn't matter. Like never be loyal to any company that's not your own. Second thing I've learned, especially in America, as an employee, you do not benefit from the tax system. You do not benefit financially in America. You will always be behind the curve as an employee. You always want to sell something. You always want to have a business. You always want to, have some sort of trade or something. Like if you're just signing W-2s every year and filling out that tax form and things on the lines of that, you won't benefit. Like there's no way to benefit financially from that at all. Okay. I just want to say that. That's something to note. That's one thing I've learned over the years. You always want to start something, and it can be like my channel's a little small channel. Lots of people sell like things on Etsy, candles, whatever, but you always want to sort of be a part of the marketplace. In America, the system is set up for businesses. It is not set up for anyone else. So I've definitely learned those two things. And then also with jobs, I could go on for jobs forever, but know your rights. Know your rights as an employee, know the laws. Like, for example, even with every job, I find like an employer is always trying to like do something that I'm just like, I don't know if that's right, right? So I had one job and my boss would kind of like message me after hours about like different things at work and things that we have to do. And I'm just like, I don't think they're allowed to like message me like this. So I looked at the laws and it's like, yeah, they can message you about work and stuff. But if they're expecting a reply out of you, then that time that you spend replying and going back and forth, that counts as you getting paid to work. So, and that's for hourly employees. I don't know how it works for salaried employees, but it's probably a little different. But if you're an hourly employee and your boss is giving you emails and they're expecting you to reply and they're calling you, the amount of time that you spend on the phone with them, that goes to your paycheck. The amount of time you spend typing up an email, that goes to your paycheck. Like, this is all time. So always know your rights as an employee. Always know the law. Always know what is, what's within your right, what you can do. Things along the lines of that. Always know the rules in terms of any sort of discrimination, what you need to do, how to file a complaint. Always look through the HR handbook. I know people don't like to read those. Read them. Things along the lines of that. Like for me, if I had not read the handbook, then I would not have known that I get holiday pay. It was me being proactive about that and saying, okay, a holiday's coming up. How does that affect me? They would have completely ignored me and not paid me, right? So I have to be vocal and say, I saw in your little handbook, I get paid for holidays, right? So then I have to go into HR and say, I get paid for holidays. So always read the handbook, always know the laws, always fight for yourself. Unfortunately, in this world, people are shady. They're really shady. I don't know how I got on this topic, but whatever. I was just saying the things that I've learned over the years. And it's hopefully that's beneficial to someone. Never be lazy when it comes to your money, your employment, your jobs. Never, ever. Mm-hmm. But that was my little rant. If anyone wants a question or wants to ask a question, feel free. Excuse me. I didn't mean to y'all like that. I am tired. So many things to learn over the years. That is the beauty of life. We all learn so many different lessons. They said, I didn't know that, but yeah, that's so important. Good tips. I wish this was taught in school or even by parents. Why don't parents put a scan? I don't think they know. Like, I don't think most people's parents know about these things at all. Just to be honest. Because I know whenever I have an issue and I bring it up to my parents, they're looking at me like I've never had to deal with this. I have no clue. They have no clue how to go about it because they've never had to deal with it. They've never been in that situation. I've been in situations where employees like didn't pay me and I had to go to literally contact the mayor to have them contact the employer to get them to pay me. Like, it was actually insane. So I've been in a lot of weird job situations, to be completely honest, really weird situations. So I know a lot about like different laws and stuff because I've had to like research so much. But yeah, for sure, I don't think most people know. But I do agree. It should be taught in school. Employment law is very, very important. Yeah, not the mayor, but it's true. It's so true. I think I still have the letter from the mayor saying like, you need to pay her. But it is very true that and a lot of people don't know that you can contact your representative for things to get things done. If it's a private company, then that's a little bit different. This was not private. This was more so of a government company. So I went through obviously an institution, government institution. But even so, you could still report them to the state and things along the lines of that. If they are working in the state, a lot of people don't know laws when it comes to like lunch breaks or just casual breaks. I think you're supposed to be able to have at least like, depending on the state, like 15-minute breaks. Like it's okay if you like walk away for 15 minutes from your desk, or like, twice a day, depending on the state, so people need to know those things. So that's true. I do get that response from parents when I ask them about various hot logistical things. Different world, I guess now. Yeah, it is a different world. It's a very, very different ball game. People are I'm not going to say they're less honest, but maybe they're more tricky about things. Like, for example, definitely, I feel like my parents, like when they've had issues with HR, at first they would have like a conversation with HR. Nowadays, having a conversation with HR is kind of like you could potentially be putting yourself on some sort of like unknown blacklist, right? And that's just having a conversation. That's not even like making any sort of accusations or anything. Whereas before, I'm not going to say for every situation, but they could at least have one conversation before things escalated. Now it's like, it's strange. It's strange. Everyone's very much guarded. Everyone's on their toes. A lot of people are more shady. They're trying to look for ways to like screw people over. Oh, I can't pick up this card. Is it? Yeah, that's like, yeah, it's like that's not a thing. Talking to HR is like an ancient myth. It's true. It's true. Talking to HR is very like taboo now. Nowadays it's like people may just talk to HR if they want to know a breakdown about their check or something, or if there's any sort of like program for something along the lines of like how companies have different programs where they might give you a stipend if you want to do some sort of educational activity. You might talk to HR about that, but anything else regarding things being like uncomfortable, or there might be a violation, or there might be some strange behavior going on, you cannot talk to HR. You really can't. It's a shame that it's come to that there's just so little trust in the world, and there's so many people who can't act appropriately and be empathetic and be kind and treat people with respect. It's a shame that it's come to that. And, paying people a decent wage, the fact that wages have stagnated, I think it's really sad, because it's like, how do you expect people to feed themselves, to live pleasant lives, to be productive members of society, when they aren't even being paid their worth? Like, they're not being paid for their efforts. They're not being given an opportunity to live. It's just become too greedy. At least that's what I think. And it's not working. Not to go on like a tangent about culture and society or anything like that, but it can't work, because if no one can afford anything, nothing's being bought. I mean, I know it's going on credit card debt. That's why credit card debt is so high. But how long is that going to last? That's what I'm wondering. There's obviously a climax point, which I think we're kind of at in the US, where we are at the highest level of debt we've ever been at in this entire country. So that balloon has to burst at some point. And that balloon bursting is obviously going to be an economic recession. It is. I was actually thinking just yesterday about how prior to my current job, I've never had a decent job with a fair manager and fair pay to work ratio. I've never experienced that until now. See, I'm so sad that that's happened to you, Sam, because like that's a common experience. That's so true. Like the fact that you can't find a manager who is fair, who knows what they're doing, who treats people with respect, and the fact that you can't have the right pay or balance for your work and the efforts that you put in. it's just ridiculous. Like I've lived that story. I know other people who have lived that story. I've heard these wild stories of people having to go through so many ridiculous situations because of work. I've heard stories of women getting fired for going into labor. And I'm just like, that's actually insane. So, but these stories are so common. They're so common. I just hope over the next, couple of years that we manage to, as a society, come together and push back against all of this. I think it will push back because that's usually how things go, right? Like you have one side sort of like moving in one direction for a while. So in this way, you have like greedy companies gaining more money. And then you have other people, literally everybody else, struggling to survive. And obviously, these things always come into a climax, and then it kind of flips back into the power of the people, and then vice versa. Just given history, it's just not possible for things to just sustain themselves as the way they are. Same with like the job market. You have a lot of companies who have a lot of power right now because everyone wants the same jobs. And because of that, more than likely at some point, it's going to push back into another direction where there may be not enough. What's the word I'm not saying? Companies may want to expand a lot faster to keep up with things. And so they may need to hire certain people, but they may not have enough to offer those people. So they may not want those jobs. And that always happens. Like I said, it always happens every single time. And there's always a flip. But I will say, just based off of what I have been thinking about and what I've been researching in terms of the job market, more than likely, there's going to be a lot more automated jobs. I think we all know that. But really what's going to happen is people who are going to be more specialized in AI, who are going to be more highly educated, who are going to be more invested in sort of like the data centers, have a lot of knowledge when it comes to these technological areas. And then obviously the same areas that we always need, like food and things along the lines of that. Those are always going to be in. But the tech sector is obviously going to continue to expand. People who are specialized and know a lot in those areas are going to do quite well. Or if they have some sort of specialty that relates to those areas are going to do well. And then people who aren't going to be as specialized, which is a lot of the red states, because they aren't as educated, at least in America, the red states tend to have a lower level of education. And thus, those states don't make as much money. They're going to continue to struggle to find jobs for themselves, and then their constituents, their people. It's going to be tough trying to find jobs for them. Most of their jobs are going to be automated. A lot of people are going to have to go for more service and jobs. There's going to be a lot of frustration and social unrest. It's going to continue because the way things are going, we need more people who are able to handle these technological advancements, but not every place is set up to handle these type of people or these type of needs, I should say. And certain people don't seem to understand what is valuable to the country and what is valuable to the economy. I'll say that. And this is a tarot channel. We're talking about the economy. I hope that makes sense. Like, it's just that the way the future is going, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. So essentially what I'm trying to say here, if you are not specialized, if you are not skilled, if you are not, no, it's T though, I'm here for it. I mean, it's true. It could be all be wrong, but I doubt it. It's just not possible. I mean, all you have to do is, if you really want to know the direction the country's going in, you look at who has the government contracts. The companies that have the government contracts are the ones who are going to be building the company's future. So who has the government contracts? All of the billionaires you just saw at the inauguration, right? You have Bill Gates, I don't know if Bill Gates was there. But people from Microsoft definitely got a contract. I believe I saw a headline, something to do with them. But you have Elon Musk, you have Mark Zuckerberg, a lot of these tech billionaires, a lot of these people like Jeff Bezos. I don't know if he counts as tech billionaire, but he's moving in a tech direction. He's got Alexa, right? And that's his overall goal. But people in these sort of spheres, these sort of markets, they're the ones getting government contracts, which means they're the ones getting money, which means they're the ones that are going to hire people. And not only that, but these companies set the standard for the industry, because these companies have a lot of power, they have a lot of weight, and they are the biggest competitors. So everyone's going to try to do everything to compete with these companies, which means if Amazon says, we want people who have master's degrees in software engineering, who have an AI tech background, then every other company who wants to follow suit, who wants to be $1 billion company, $1 trillion company like Amazon, is going to do the same thing. And so, like I said, it's going to be more like specialized individuals. Everyone's going to be coming after people who have these special set of skills in order to fulfill these government contracts, in order to push things forward. So if you don't have those set of skills, you might be okay, but more than likely not really. You're going to have to be specialized. There's no way around it. I don't see somebody just graduating high school and doing well for themselves, trying to work a 9 to 5. They will have to start their own company. And especially if you are a minority, because of the way the government is going right now, most contracts, it's pretty rare to give a government contract to a minority. Just point blank period, that it doesn't happen. And then the fact that we have a lot of initiatives right now for DEI, must die, whatever, it's going to be even worse. It may be like you get no contracts, or we gave somebody one contract or something like that. Government contracts gives funding to businesses so that they can start and move forward and build empires, et cetera, da, da, da. And without that, it's going to be hard to uplift your community or get the sort of backing that you need. And so a lot of minority communities are going to have to be self-backed. And the only way to be self-backed is having the education, getting a job, getting paid for that job, investing, and then coming together and building that community. So it's going to be really tough. So no, okay. Honestly, it just feels like a prediction. I don't know if it's a prediction, but it's just like, it's just more than likely that's the way things are going to go. As they say, follow the money, right? That's what everyone says. And just see where the money is going. And then you know where the jobs are, you know what's going to happen. I mean, that's just how it is. And I think that's maybe part of the reason why we have like people like Bill Gates building food and labs and stuff like that, because I know a lot of government contract and a lot of government spending goes to farmers and things along the lines of that. And if you can sort of, what's the word? I guess I for lack of better words, get rid of the farmers, basically drive them into poverty by not offering them government subsidized contracts and things along the lines of that. You could buy their land, and you could essentially make that organic food, not organic food. What does he call that? That food that lab grown food for millions of Americans. And you can have like robots planting things, to be completely honest. I might be totally off, but it's not a bad idea. Like, I'm thinking, if I was a billionaire, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I pay the government to not not give farmers money so that I can have them default on their property so I could buy it? And so then I can grow whatever I want on that land, or I could sell it, you know? But your assessment that people will start their own businesses makes me wonder if that's where we really are. You know what? We might actually be there, because you do see a lot of people going towards like content creation. Is it GMO? Is it GMO? Is that what he's have with the lab grown food? Yeah, genetically modified. Yeah, that's exactly it. You see a lot of his, because I was wondering why he was promoting that and why he was buying all this land. And then I was like, well, he would be controlling the entire food supply potentially for America, which food is a need. You know, could you imagine if you had the power to control the food supply for an entire country, or one of the most powerful and richest countries in the world? Like, that's actually, you'd be unstoppable. You know, if people can't eat, they can't do anything. But yeah, I do think that people are starting their own businesses. Right now, you see so many people popping up with stores and digital books and all of these different avenues. So I think people are understanding that's the way to go, because things are so competitive. People are like freelancing more, people are selling themselves more. Even farmers' seeds aren't owned by them. They can't lawfully own their own seeds. That's actually kind of crazy. I've never even knew that they couldn't own their own seeds. So they're constantly like paying back private businesses or governments and things along the lines of that. That's actually ridiculous. That shouldn't be allowed at all. And the fact that that's been going on for so long, I think it's time for people to sort of, all of us, to say something and fight back, because it's getting too ridiculous. Like, we don't own anything anymore. And I think maybe that's also why you have people sort of like growing their own plants more now. Maybe they're realizing that they don't own anything, that everything is being handed to them. Handed to them is not the right word, because nothing's free, but everything's sort of being like, you have to buy from someone, you have to get it from somewhere, like you have to put in effort in order to get your needs met. It's like you don't have that independence for yourself. You're constantly depending on something else. Yeah, it's insane. Even like Netflix streaming something as simple as, we can't just buy a movie and have it. Exactly. No, that's exactly true, Sam. Like something simple like that. We can't just own something anymore. We have to rent it or borrow it. You know, it just doesn't make sense. I don't understand it. I mean, I do understand it's greed, but it's like, this is actually ridiculous. We should be allowed to own things. Or own most things. Like, too many things are getting like yeah, it's so extreme. It is extreme. It's very extreme. I know I don't like it. I don't get why we're being charged for everything. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate that it's come to this. But I'm glad more people are waking up to it, and are waking up to the fact that the world we live in is just very unfair. And I do see people doing things. Like, I do see more people trying to help each other and trying to get ahead and trying to push in a different direction. I see more people recognizing having like a traditional route of like going to school, going to college, getting a job is not really going to provide you with that sense of stability. Like, I see more people looking outside the box, thinking of alternative ways, more people trying to like find a remote job to, live in a different country where it's not as expensive, more people recognizing what's valuable to them. Like, I definitely see that a lot more. and more. Like it, at least for me, but that might be my anecdotal experience. But it's just something I noticed. I could be wrong. I think I'm definitely being called to pay attention to things internally, considering them in my work. And I'm starting a business. I'm a writer as well. And the election in America is definitely calling attention to these realities. Yes, you're 100% right. And congratulations on starting your business. You know, that's definitely a lot of hard work and a really smart decision. At least I think so. Yeah, you're right. It's the election is calling attention to so many different realities. So many people don't realize how important these structures are and how much effect that they have on their lives. Like I hear somebody said to me the other day, like, oh, now that I forgot what they said, but they said something along the lines of related to inflation. I can't remember what change they thought would affect inflation, but they said now that blah 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 happened, then that means like the prices are going to go down, that there'll be less inflation. I'm like, that's not how inflation. I didn't say this to them, but I was like, that's not how inflation works. Like the prices are never coming down. The most that will happen is with inflation, you know, instead of rising at like 6%, you know, like, okay, it's like student loans, right? You say, I'm going to charge you 8% of for whatever, for 10,000, right? So instead of being charged at 8%, now you're going to be charged maybe 7%. It's still going up. You still have to pay. Like you still have to pay the money. The price is not, it's just not rising as fast. You know, it's like, okay, this Greek yogurt is rising at a rate of every month by 2%. Now we lower the inflation. So now it's rising every month by 1.5%. It's still going to rise. I don't think people understand the structures and how they affect them. And I think this election is helping them understand these small things. Now, I'm not the most eloquent person when it comes to explaining things that are non-spiritual, but I do have an understanding of the basic economy and how it works. Even though I don't allow myself to be overwhelmed by things, this year I'm being called to another level of responsibility that is more revolutionary approach to my business. Wow. I mean, I'm very proud of you to recognize that calling, because you know sometimes people ignore it, or sometimes you know they're still trying to figure things out. So the fact that you've gotten to that point where you recognize what you're being called to do and you're acting on it, that's a big step, and congratulations to you. You know you're walking into your purpose and you're doing what you need to do in this life. Yes, people don't know. I guess it's wishful thinking. But yes, there's no going backwards. Exactly. There's no going backwards at all, which is like in my personal life. That's why I always try to encourage like my friends to invest. They're not going to listen. Most people don't listen, but but I'm going to still encourage them, because like the only way to beat inflation or to make sure that you stay financially secure is to start a business, because you know that W-2 is not going to do anything. B, invest, and I don't mean just your 401k, though that's very nice, but you should invest in stocks, REIT stocks, real estate, which I guess you can invest through real estate through REIT stocks. You could be an angel investor, though that's mainly for people who have a larger amount of money. You can be someone who, starts a club, does fundraisers, whatever the case may be. But you need your money to grow, and you need it to work for you. Like you need it to be working while you're sleeping, because that's the only way that things are going to stabilize. I think sometimes people think that they don't have enough money to invest, or things are going to work itself out. Like with the inflation thing, they think, okay, prices will go down and I'll manage to pay things again. Prices are never going down. Think the price of the things always go up. If you're not looking for a new job every year, it can be tired. You're going to be tired 5 years from now, 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now. It's just going to be too exhausting, you know. Thank you. It's blowing my mind. As I continue to act on these instructions, I keep getting rewarded more ability and creative solutions to carry out. Yes, that's like you tapping into your intuition. That's you being aligned, with your purpose. That's amazing that that's happening for you, Sam, that you are finally, connecting to like this higher version of yourself. Just continue to trust your intuition. Yes, investing is absolutely essential. Financial literacy is necessary now more than ever. And yes, there are more investment solutions for average person. It's just that people don't know. Yeah, they don't. And it's unfortunate. It makes me sad that I think maybe people feel a little bit defeated, or maybe they feel like it's not for them, and things along the lines of that. But it's like easier now than ever to invest. I don't know. My purpose, I'm just a tarot and astrology channel. So that's not my thing. I'm not a finance bro, but like but I do want to, I care about obviously all my subscribers and my astronauts. So I do try to every now and then mention and invest in a reading and say, okay, look at these cards here. They want you to use your money, right? Like if I see that in the spread, and then I'll suggest investing. But it's frustrating. It's hard to get through to people. It's hard. It's like, please, learn about money, learn about taxes, learn about home ownership, learn about everything that goes into it. I think some people, when they think about home ownership, because me personally, I've always wanted to own a home, and they're like, oh, but you have to do everything yourself. I'm like, I'm in project management. Like, I don't care about responsibility. Like, that's all we do. But the main purpose of home ownership is home equity. It's being able to have something that rises in value. It's being able to say, my property used to cost, when I bought it, cost $400,000. Now it's worth $1 million, right? You want that equity. Like you want that sense of security, because that's an investment. And it's hard to explain that to people because they're not thinking in terms of like, how can this be of value to me 10 years from now? But yes, especially with money, it can be such a sensitive subject, and people lean towards holding tightly to their ideas related to it as well. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It's definitely a sensitive subject, and people do hold tightly to their ideas. I totally get that perspective, because I've been there before, but then maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm more open-minded. Obviously, I am. I'm on a tarot YouTuber, so for me, I'm just open to the idea that I might be wrong, and thus I want to hear what other people have to say. But we've been chatting about everything but tarot and astrology or anything related to the occult. I'm trying to think if there's anything coming up next week. I think the full moon, is it in I think it's like at the very last degrees of Ashleisha next week. And Ashleisha is very much like it's an energy where you recognize that something needs to end, but it feels very uncomfortable. I'll say that with Ashleisha. It feels like you're being replaced, or a part of you is being replaced. So that energy might come in next week with the full moon. I've just seen that theme a lot with Ashleisha. It's all about like, okay, I'm elevating something, but at the same time, I'm losing something. Out with the old, in with the new. So I've worked in the finance industry, and people being receptive just to pure information without advice was surprising. But yeah, to us, it's like, duh, I want more money. Why wouldn't I learn more? Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, you're right. For certain people, we're gonna be like, yeah, I want more money, so I want to hear it. I'm open. Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting. Different people's mindsets is interesting. Hopefully we have this rise of awareness. I think we will with Rahu and Pisces. There will be a rise of awareness. A lot of unrest though, but I think that's coming. Saturn switching signs to, I think in March. Let me make sure. I think I have my calendar marked, but my phone's dying, so I don't want to check that. Let me check. Is that in Vedic? I think. It says Saturn is currently transiting Aquarius and will move into Pisces on March 29th. Oh, yeah. So 100%. That might be Vedic astrology, though, right? Still similar vibe. I thought in Western it's moving into Aries, I believe. Let me make sure that's right. But for Vedic, it's moving into Pisces. Doesn't it move into Pisces for a little bit? I gotta look at the charts. Let me see. Saturn transit Aries. I swear, I'm not making that up. Yeah, it does transit Aries in May 2024. Sorry, May 2025 for a little bit. And that's in Western astrology. And then in Vedic astrology, it moves into Pisces in March, the end of March. So do you have plans for your birthday? I don't really have any plans. I got the sun card pop out, but I don't really have any plans. There's a place near me that has the Dubai chocolate. I don't like to eat too many sweets too much all the time, so I like to pick special days, or it has to be for like a class or an event that I'm going to eat the sweet. So I think for my birthday, I'm going to go to that place, get the Dubai chocolate, and I'm also want to do like a latte flights. So because I've never had latte flights. Either that, if I can't find latte flights, then I'm gonna do like different espresso shots. Because I found a place they have like lavender espresso shot, mocha espresso shots. So they have different espresso shots. So I'm gonna do maybe 3. I wanted to do 5, but I was like, oh, I have anxiety. I'm not gonna do that. Let me not do 5 espresso shots. But that's my plans. Sand, when is your birthday? I don't think I know. Said, man, Pisces is coming in all the way from always ready to reset everything. How is Saturn in North Node in Pisces? I guess it represents a rising in resistance to the North Node energy. As a result, it is a call for action. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, you did nail it. It is that rise of resistance. Also, what I've noticed is Saturn and the North Node coming together, very restrictive energy. Very like things get crazy, like things go like really out of control, and then it's this tight restriction, because you have to think about like Rahu wants to expand, Rahu wants to grow, Rahu's insatiable, but Saturn is this very restrictive, tight planet. And at the end of the day, Saturn's like the pinnacle of the chart, right? It's like, I rule over this. I rule over everything. So Saturn ultimately will restrain Rahu, and Rahu, being like the master of disguise it is, will take on the cloak of Saturn and say, okay, I guess we're strict now. I think we're strict. And so it's going to create a lot of restrictions for people, a lot more rules, a lot more regulations. maybe even things that just feel like tight, like pressured. It feels like, oh my goodness. Oh, hey, Taylor. He said, I am a July 30th. I'm a Leo. Oh, a Leo energy, fire sign energy. Guess I'm not just Aries watching Aries, but fire is in the building. Yeah. Fire energy for the win. Yeah, it will continue to be kind of messy. Taylor said you have a question. Let me know your question and let me know where you sent it, because if it's if it's PayPal or Cash App. Oh, I got it. I see it. Okay, is Josh cheating on me or has recently cheated? Okay. Okay, let's see the question. Okay, and here we go. We have the King of Swords. Let's see, clarify that. 9 of Cups. And the King of Pentacles. I do not think so. I don't think this person has cheated, only because the King of Swords is honest. Knight of Cups is like the wish fulfillment card, being happy, getting the things that you want. I'm assuming you don't want him to cheat. And then we have the King of Pentacles, who is a very loyal individual. So I don't think so. I don't think he has cheated, at all. They seem to be very pleased with how things are currently. Whoa, this card flew out. What card is this? We have Temperance, balance, things coming together in harmony, things being very much like working together, peaceful energy. I do not think so. I think that's a clarification. Like, it doesn't seem like this person is doing that. Temperance also likes to practice morality and making sure everything is on the up and up. So I think this person has been loyal. You're welcome, Taylor. All right, guys. Get ready for... Oh, there's something else I was going to say about oscillation. Oh, right. For those of you who may feel like... What's the word? For those of you who are in some sort of relationship or who are single looking for love, then this energy next week with the full moon can be something like having a truth revealed to you, or discovering something about someone, or even like an epiphany for yourself, in a way where you recognize a pattern of behavior, where you recognize that you may go after certain individuals, where certain people have different personalities that seem to be appearing over and over and over again. And you recognize areas that are frustrating for you, like areas that feel like, you know what, I keep attracting this type of individual. Why do I keep going after this type of person? And having to reevaluate yourself in that context. I only say that because it's like aspecting oscillation. I know oscillation deals with sort of like kind of secretive like energy. Oscillation is a very secretive nakshatra. And so quite often they have things revealed to them that can feel like, I feel betrayed, or I feel like this person has pulled a wool from over my eyes. This person has exposed some truth to me that I feel shocked by. That happens a lot. And if it's not another person, then it's themselves. It's like their own thoughts, and they're just like, wait a minute, I tend to do this, don't I? Or I'm doing this because da da da. Because Ashlesha and all the Mercury new ruled nakshatras deal with self-awareness. So it becomes about like, oh, the reason that I always go out and eat after work is because I am dissatisfied with my job and I need some sort of pick me up, and I use food as a way to make myself feel better about my life or whatever, something like that, right? Very much like aha moments. And then it's like, well, do I really value food? Do I really value going out to eat? Or am I just sad and and need a new job and a new environment where I feel happy? So that's very much Ashlesha, especially since it's squared Uranus. It's about restructuring things so there's more balance, more inner peace in your life, more self-awareness, more understanding, more truth, more honesty, and replacing things that are out and old and replacing them with new things, because things are expanding and things are growing. So that's what I have. That's what I have about the energies of next week. I wouldn't say it's going to be as stressful as, like, say, like a Sun Pluto energy. It's more so an energy that feels like, let's pull a card for it. Let's pull a card for it. We want to see. So that feels in line with where I've personally been headed for sure. That is good to know that that falls in line with what you're experiencing. And honestly, it does make sense as these energies approach the full moon that you're already feeling that already. Let's see the vibes. The vibes is the King of Wands and the Page of Swords. Two proactive cards having to do with taking action and thoughts. A lot of actions, a lot of thinkings, a lot of, when I get the King of Wands is like proactively doing things to better their future, like literally, maybe physically doing things. And the Page of Swords is thinking through new opportunities that may be coming their way. So it's interesting that we got that energy combined with this full moon going on. So it makes me wonder if there's going to be some sort of realizations that's like, you know what? I really got to go for this thing. I really got to make sure that I stay on top of this. I really got to push ahead full steam. I've got to put my plans into action. Says, yes, finally, this allows movement, and that was blocked by the mental things. Yeah, I think that's exactly what's happening. Like, there's more movement now. It does feel like it does feel like it'd be stressful, at least for me, because it feels like just continuation for me. Yeah, I feel that and need that. Same. I think it's the same thing for me, where I'm just going to, like, anything that I've been working on, and there are a few things that I'm just like, actually, I do need to wrap this up. There are a few things already, and I was planning to wrap them up this week. So it does make sense that these cards pop up, because it's like, okay, let's actually put this into action. Let's actually get this done. Let's put some movement in. We may have been resting for a little bit, but now it's time to actually get up and go and get this accomplished. Because I recognize this means something to me. I recognize this is something I care about. And I would like to move on to the next stage, which is very Page of Swords. You know, they're ready to move on before they started. So same, some things I've been working on for too long, and it's annoying now. I think that's the energy of next week. It's like, okay, this has been going on for too long. Let's wrap this up. Yeah. All right, I'm going to end the live. I will see you next week, Sand, and anyone else who is in the live. I will see you as well. Thank you for all showing up, talking to me, chatting about the future. And next week, let me see if I can find a day on the calendar so I'm not like giving you guys a completely wrong day where I may not be available. I think the best day next week is probably going to be Sunday again. Sunday seems to be the best day. And it may be around this time as well. So be on the lookout for this live at Sunday at noon. Only because I have things planned next week. Next week is Valentine's Day. I mean, I'm single, but like there's so many fun things to do around that day. You know, I'm busy. I'm trying to get a social life. So all right, take care. And hopefully I see you all next week, next Sunday. And I will post that time. And bye. Stay safe.